What's going on YouTube? You already know it's your boy Nate. If you guys are new to the channel, I want to say welcome. We talk about a lot of things when it comes to purpose and masculinity, spirituality, you name it, right? And for today's video, I wanted to focus on why men and women play games with each other. Now guys, this is a deep topic. I'm gonna try to cover it in one video, but I know you guys are probably pretty upset over this, right? I can imagine if you're watching this video, you're just sick of it, right? You're sick of the games. You're sick of the back and forth. You're sick of having to be inauthentic. You're sick of having to do certain things a certain way to get people to, be attracted to you, right? You're sick of having to play a part. You feel like you can't be authentic with yourself, right? Or others. Guys, I want to talk about the issue behind this, right? So, it seems like something that's really hit people the last few years, but this has been going on for decades, guys, probably centuries, right? We tend to think that we're the exception to the rule, and in a lot of ways we are, because of, the fact that we have our phones, we have social media, we can DM, we can text, we can take a picture, we can communicate with each other like that through multiple means, right? We can FaceTime each other from across the world. Pretty incredible stuff. But why do people feel the need to play games with each other, right? Why, as a man, do you have to play texting games, right? You got to wait a certain amount of time. So a girl's gonna think that you're not too needy, right? You're gonna have to put up a persona that you're this, right? You're gonna have to make sure you got this certain article of clothing, right? Or car, or you live in a certain area, or you got this together, right? It seems like a game. Now, why are people playing games these days, guys? I truly believe it's because of the way that everything is set up. Because the way things are set up, guys, they're made to make you second guess about reality, right? You see these phones and everything, they give us a false sense of security when it comes to communication. See, most people, well, you would think most people would use it in a healthy way, right? You think most people, if they wanted to text somebody, they wanted to talk to somebody, they would just do it. So how do we get to the point where we're having to wait 4 hours or 2.5 times the amount to text the girl back? Or, if you're a woman watching this, you have to play these games to see if he's loyal to you, if he's into you, if he's a man of his word, right? How did we get to this point? Guys, I'm gonna be real with you. It's because people have manipulated the game, so to speak. They've manipulated the process. They've manipulated the way we communicate. And guys, manipulation, it can be used for good and evil, right? Whether you like to believe it or not, sometimes, we are always manipulating things to an extent, right? If we want a job, right, we're gonna probably dress nice, we're gonna act like we're on our best behavior, we're gonna say all the right things, we're gonna be respectful. But then once we're at that job for a year or two, we might, tend to slack off a little bit. We might tend to be a little bit more carefree, right? Maybe not dress as nice, all that kind of stuff, right? But when it comes to dating, how did we get to this point? Guys, if we trace it back to, I would say probably, I'm just gonna say 15 years ago, right? When a lot of this stuff started to come out. I remember when Snapchat, Instagram first came out. Revolutionary apps, revolutionary social media. To this day, it's still what I would call like the top tier social media. Nothing's really eclipsed it in terms of people using it, the interface, all that, right? Nothing else has really come out that's trumped it. It's very unique, right? It keeps going. Guys, what happened is people became complacent and people started to realize, it's human nature, that the things that you can't have are normally the things that you want, right? Think about it. You go to the store, you're trying to find your favorite candy, right? I like Reese's as an example, right? Go to the store, you're trying to find your favorite Reese's candy. There's a whole shelf, there's a whole aisle, right? There's a whole aisle of all the Reese's you could think of, man. They got nougat Reese's, they got pretzel Reese's, they got like Payday Reese's now, right? They're like full of peanuts. They got everything. There's tons of different kinds: white chocolate, dark chocolate, milk chocolate. They got it all now. Sometimes when you go to the store and you just want to get some Reese's, you might go to that aisle and you might just be stuck. You're like, it's paralysis by analysis. There's so many options. You don't know what to do. You're like, man, sometimes there might be so many options. You just get sick of looking. You can't decide and you just walk out. You don't even buy Reese's, right? But think about the time you go to the store, you really want some Reese's. You go to the aisle, there's like 2 bags left. You're very likely to get one of those bags, right? You're very likely to get it because it's not there. Because you think, oh my gosh, if I don't get it now, someone else is going to get it. Oh, these are pretty popular, right? A lot of people like these, right? You're going to have all these subconscious things going on in your mind. Same way with people, man. Sad to say, but it's the same thing with people. You have all these sayings, distance makes the heart grow fonder. People want what they can't have. And you have people who are artificially simulating these environments, these relationships, right? The truth is, guys, if you find people that actually enjoy you, that enjoy your presence, that enjoy talking to you, you're not going to have these games. And I'm just going to let y'all know a few experiences I've had with women, because I think a lot of people watching this are wanting to know, why do I have to play games with women? Why do I have to seem so unavailable? So guys, a little story time with Nate, all right? We're going to go way back. We're going to go way back to my teenage years, right? When I first started to get super social, I started to talk to a lot of people, started texting people, right? Even emailing, right? Gosh, I feel old talking about that, but, talking to people and stuff, right? I remember, it's so funny thinking about it, like I would be obsessed with this girl, right? With this one girl. And I have like these 2 or 3 other girls that, I kind of talk to every once in a while. They'd reach out to me, they'd be real friendly, but sometimes I would take hours to respond, right? I would take even a day or 2 days, right? It would be a while, sometimes longer. And, I get back to him when I did, and it was so weird to think back and remember those times, because the women that I talked to less, the women that didn't have as much of me, so to speak, right? They didn't have my time. They tended to want me more. And the women that I really wanted, that I was making myself available for, tended to want me less, right? Now, there's a lot of psychology that goes into this, right? But ultimately, guys, it all goes back to a spirit of narcissism. It always goes back to it, right? Men and women I used to be very narcissistic looking back. There's still times I have to check myself and go, catch myself slipping right back into my old ways. But there were times, guys, where, I would remember these instances, and I would remember these interactions, and it blows my mind, how and why they worked. And the thing is, guys, a lot of people, once it comes down to it, they don't really have a very high self-esteem. Most people don't. Even the really confident people in your life, even the handsome guys, the really pretty women, right? A lot of them don't have the self-esteem that you think they do. We all have our issues. We all have our insecurities. We all have things about us that we don't like, that we don't think is great, right? And when I started to figure that out, when I started to really think about that, it made me think of the times that I was super confident, the times that I had a winner's mindset, right? Where I wasn't scared of rejection, right? I wasn't thinking about, has it been 4 hours yet? I should text this girl back, right? I would just text her back. If it was 2 minutes, if it was 5 minutes, if it was 5 hours, I wasn't even thinking about it. I was just doing my thing. I wasn't thinking, if I text her too much or too little, she's not gonna respond to me, right? I just kind of talked to the girls that wanted to talk to me and I wanted to talk to, and if it worked, it worked. What happens is, though, a lot of people, they get scared. They get into a spirit of fear. And they start to think that they have to hold on to what's in front of them, or they don't think they're going to find something better than what's in front of them. We start to let other people's values supersede our own. We start to put other people above ourselves. And it's okay to be giving, it's okay to be a good person, right? But you never want to put, unless you're truly seeking the well-being of somebody, you never want to put somebody above yourself, right? And if you do, you need to know why. Obviously, if you're trying to put their well-being, ahead of your own, if you're trying to really build them up, if you have the ability and the opportunity to do so. And sometimes that does require sacrifice. But what I see a lot of people do, men and women, is they string themselves out and they make themselves overly available. And the fact is, guys, a lot of people, like I said, have a spirit of narcissism, and they're going to take advantage of people. They're going to know that you like them, and they're going to use that to their advantage. If they're lonely, they're going to want to talk to you. If they're lonely, maybe they're going to want to come over and see you. But then you start to notice these inconsistencies, like, I can never get them to talk to me at this certain time of day or night, or, they only want me for this or that. And that's all traced back again to how we look at ourselves. All right. And what happens is, once we start to figure that out, we either have an option to play a game and try to basically dish it back on someone. Well, they're not texting me back for 4 hours, so I'm going to wait 6 hours. I'm going to wait a whole day. I'm going to show them. I'm going to make it seem like I'm busy. But the reality is, guys, if you're truly who you are, if you're being authentic to yourself, you're going to attract the people that are going to want to be in your life and the people that are available, right? Just because a girl's maybe has a boyfriend now, or she's talking to someone now, maybe she doesn't see you as, you shouldn't fight for her. I'm not saying you should try to level yourself up. I'm just saying it might be a bad time. Maybe she ends up breaking up with someone. Maybe that guy ends up being a total jerk, and not the Chad type of jerk that a lot of people tend to romanticize these days. Like, oh, if I could just be a jerk, if I could just be a Chad, right? Guys, good people are going to want to be around good people. So what I figured out as time went on, right, is these games you have to play, they never work out. Think about, have you ever heard of anybody who had a long, happy relationship or marriage because they played games with each other? I can't name anybody. Every now and again, you'll have a couple who's like, yeah, we were both really shy. We didn't really know how to communicate. We were kind of playing hard to get, but then they figure that out pretty quickly. They're like, oh yeah, we were just kind of being goofballs, right? We were just awkward. But I'm talking about people who are legitimately, maybe they know they're handsome, they know they're pretty, they know they're this or that, they know that people like them, and they're using people, right? They're leading people on purpose. They're giving them false hope. Some of it, I want to make this note, guys, some of it we create in our own minds. We create the games in our own minds. We're like, oh, this person's nice to me, they must like me, right? We create these things in our own heads. Sometimes it's just not true. Right? Sometimes they just don't like you, right? Sometimes you mistake people's kindness or their availability as, wanting to get to know you on an intimate level, something like that, right? There's really no magic formula to it, guys. The only thing you can be sure of is if somebody wants to talk to you, they are going to make themselves available to talk to you. Point blank, period, guys. I've had women in my life where I had to play those games. It seemed like, they were just kind of off, and it was like, I don't what's going on here? This is weird, right? Never ever worked out with those women, right? I wasn't going to crack the code. I wasn't going to crack the formula. There was either another guy in their life, or they didn't see me as super attractive or whatever, right? It is what it is. But then there was a lot of women too, where I would text them, they'd hit me up 2, 5, 10 minutes later. We'd have a conversation. We'd talk on the phone. I'd ask them to go out. They would go out, right? They're no big deal. We'd go out on dates. We get to know each other, right? We date for a while. Some of these girls turned into my girlfriends, right? But you have to like each other, right? There is no games. If you have to play a game to get somebody, if you have to play a game for someone to like you, guys, you're with the wrong person. You're with straight up a narcissistic person who's going to use you. Because eventually, if you do get with one of these women, I have experience with this as well. If you win her over, if you eventually get, to be her boyfriend or whatever, yeah, it might be great at first, but it's very likely that she was either in a relationship that she wasn't happy about, that maybe she was like, oh, you know what, this guy, he's always been there for me, I'll give him a shot. And she likes that comfort, she likes that stability, she likes what you can give her, right? But it's not really going to last because you weren't really her first option. Now, I know there's always exceptions to the rule, right? Some girl breaks up with a guy, she gets with you, you guys are married happily ever after for 50 years. I get it. That happens. But I'm saying generally, guys, if there's any sort of games, if there's any sort of inauthenticity, it's not going to work. Don't waste your time. You're spinning your wheels for nothing. You're not going to be able to crack the code. There's a lot of red pill, there's a lot of dating advice out there that's garbage, right? If you're truly who you need to be and you're living your life, you're going to have a sporadic schedule anyway. You're not going to have to give this illusion of, oh, I'm busy. Oh, I got this crazy stuff going on, right? You either can or you can't talk to someone. You either do or you don't want to talk to someone. It's either a good time to talk or not a good time to talk, right? You can tell if someone wants to talk to you or not. It's pretty simple. Are they asking you questions? Are they carrying on the conversation? Or are you doing all the legwork? Are you doing it all? Are you the one who's having to make yourself available all the time? Are you the one having to go out of your way? Are you the one contributing? Are you the giver and they're the taker? Are they just constantly taking and you're just like, you know what? If I can just keep giving, if I can just be a good person, I can just win them over. I can change them. Guys, there's some people out there who are going to give you that false hope. They're going to play into that. There's people who can spot that from a mile away. They might never tell you. You might never hear it from them. But they know they're playing the game. They're playing you, right? Don't let yourself be taken advantage of. A lot of people let it happen to them because, again, they don't have that high self-esteem. Here's what happens, guys. When you learn to have high self-esteem, when you learn to believe in yourself, to actually love yourself and care for yourself, treat yourself like a friend, like a best friend, you're not going to let other people treat you a certain way because, one, you have your own standards and boundaries. Two, you look at yourself in a high regard. You look at yourself as someone who's capable, of someone who's worth it, right? The third thing being, guys, you're not going to just give without any sort of expectation in return. A lot of people think that that's a bad thing, right? Again, there's giving without any expectation, right? But most of the time, if we're giving, right, I believe we should give liberally. We should be able to be that person who's just constantly seeing where we can, help out, but don't overextend yourself to the detriment of yourself and to people who are not going to return that in any way, or to people who constantly keep taking advantage of that, right? And especially for people, if you're going out of your way, doing everything for them and they're not going to contribute anything back to you, right? Because it goes both ways. Right? We constantly try to put ourselves in this superior kind of righteous pedestal of, you know what, I'm just going to keep being the good person. I'm going to change them. You can be a good person, but you can also distance yourself if need be. If you know you're getting taken advantage of, it's okay to back away. It's okay to distance yourself, right? It's okay to take care of yourself. So guys, if you're having to play games with a woman or women, if you're having to play games with a guy, just know that if someone wants to be part of your life, they're going to make it very obvious. And I wanted to end the video with this as well. I know I talked about sort of the initial getting to know somebody, dating and stuff, but this goes for after the fact as well. A lot of people will put on a nice front. They'll be charming. They'll love bomb, right? They'll be everything you want them to be and more. But as soon as you are committed, as soon as you become a thing, all of a sudden they try to take advantage of that. They try to take advantage of that commitment, that stability. They use you. They take you for granted. That's why I recommend don't rush into a relationship, and I recommend don't sleep with someone before marriage, because that just throws in a whole other can of worms. It's all for a reason, guys, because once you give people what they want, their true colors are going to show. Once they think they have you in their control, it's going to show. But genuinely good people, it's going to be a give-give relationship. You're going to be pouring into each other. You're going to be lifting each other up. You're going to be building each other, right? You're gonna be seeking the best for each other. You're not gonna be putting each other in this anxious state of mind and mood of, oh, I don't know where he is. I don't know where she is. She hasn't texted me and she's not calling me back and all this. You're not gonna have that, right? I'm not saying that your communication is always gonna be perfect, right? Every blue moon, maybe there'll be something that's just, it's like, whoa, maybe an emergency happened or something, right? Stuff happens. But there should be a genuine accountability. There should be a genuine willingness to build the other person up, to strive to be better yourself, right? So that you can be better for the other person. Don't just give up when you get into a relationship either. A lot of guys do this, right? They get with the girl, they stop dating her, they stop bringing her out, they stop trying to do fun things, they stop being creative, they get complacent. A lot of girls get bored and they go, man, this guy's boring, this guy ain't all that, he lied to me, right? Man, someone else comes along and it's nice and sweet to me, and guys, that's a big reason a lot of women leave too, right? Not just because she's malicious and she hates you, she wants to leave you, no. So we gotta take accountability for our actions, men and women. But guys, life is too short for games, for the anxiety, for the artificial simulation, whatever you want to call it, of am I available or not, right? If she wants to talk to you, she wants to text you, she wants to be with you, she'll make it obvious, right? Go for it too. Don't be scared of the rejection. Don't be scared, oh, if I do this, it's going to mess everything up, right? Oh, if I put it out there that I'm interested in her, that I want to see her, she's going to think I'm weird and never see me again. Guys, give it a shot, man. If she thinks you're weird, she's going to think you're weird, and it's not going to work out anyway. But if you keep it to yourself, you're never going to figure it out. You're never going to know, man, I could have had a shot, man. You don't want to live a life of regret. Man, I woulda, coulda, shoulda. So guys, if you got any comments, any experiences, anything you want to add, any disagreements, let me know in the comments below. As always, you can email me. It's in my channel description. But I'll see y'all at the next one.